what about this? I saved this one because I do think it's interesting, right? Obviously, the moves that Heretics have done are actually pretty good. Like, they brought in Vethio for mid, but remember, I actually asked around a lot. I didn't do a video on it yet, but I asked around a lot with like past teammates of some of these players that failed in Excel, coaches. I was asking, what's going on in the team? And basically what I was told by a whole bunch of people who know Vethio, or VTO, as they say in French, is that he is the person where like you have to make him like comfortable, you have to set him up, and his jungler has to be on the same page. All these like essentially he's not the guy you can't just drop him in there and he can't just carry the game like a 1v9 player. He doesn't have that mentality, and in fact, it seems like if he doesn't have some of the things his way, he can play badly. Actually, well, first of all, he got probably the best fucking supportive jungler ever produced in the West at a minimum, like in Jankos. Like, this is the dream for that sort of player. And then also at ADC, they swapped out Jack Spectra and they've got in fucking Flackhead, who, this is one of those great moments, Tom, where everyone who watched this show last year will be like, you guys hate Flackhead, which we did address a million times. But spoiler,
we're never winning that one.
No, but I want him to be on a team like this. He actually is an LEC quality ADC. And this is exactly the sort of team, by the way, where I want him to come in and play. Like, I actually think these moves are good. Like, spoiler, we'll get to where I haven't ranked later. I'm probably getting a bit silly, but I actually think this is going to be like, problem is, if I say relevant, you're going to think championship team. Essentially, I think this team's going to make groups, but that way, I think they can actually be much better than people imagine. With that said, obviously, Ebby is still there, so I don't know how much that's going to color your fucking perception of this. So how do I?
Ruins everything for me.
The one last joke I have is this, right? If you are Ebby and Mercer, just actually go and send like a flower basket and 10% of your salary for this split to fucking Ruby, because he tanked all the abuse. Because I don't know, Mercer, I don't even get it. He must just be out doing fucking Jedi mind tricks. Like, they're walking in like, oh, where's there is no support here. Like, oh, but I think ADC's just fucking up the game here. Like, I don't know what he's doing the whole time. Like, the spoiler is, if Yumi is ever removed from League of Legends, he may as well just retire. Like, at that point in time, he'd have to use his hands or something. And then for fucking Ebby, like, it's just the really funny tweets that must be keeping him going. Oh, someone just really likes fucking Japanese people. I don't know how he's still in the team. So give me your thoughts on Heretics. It's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it?
I want to buy in on the video redemption story, but man, I can't get past Evie. I really, like, he is so egregiously bad to me. He's one of the players that triggers me the most to watch, because I feel like he's just completely clueless as to what's happening in the game. That's the biggest thing for me. It's not necessarily that like he like messes up mechanically in fights. I'm okay with people that mess up mechanically in fights sometimes. It's just the fact that it looks like he just doesn't understand what is happening in the game when it's happening. People say language barrier and all that stuff. I don't buy any of that. Like, you see other players that have language barriers. If they're good as fuck players at the game and they've played in like major regions before, they know what the fuck is going on. They know what the right play is. He just looks completely unaware, and he can't really team fight that well. I mean, even his Scion gameplay was horrible, man. He died like 13 times on a Scion. Then he played Gragas. He laned versus a Scion that wasn't in the lane. Adam was actually intentionally feeding this game. I don't stand by that. Adam was trying to lose that game as hard as humanly possible. He was inting the enemy jungler for kills. He was giving buffs. He was just walking around the map aimlessly. He TP'd in front of the bot lane. He was intentionally feeding. And Evie still was not able to be relevant in the game in a 1v0 lane. Like, I just can't believe that this guy is ever going to get better at this stuff, because we saw almost no progress when it came from like week 1 until, you know, the last week of spring. Like week 1 of winter to the last week that they played in spring. There was almost no progress. He just looked like the same player. So I'm now supposed to believe that he is going to magically improve. I don't know. I don't think that is something that I can believe. Second thing is, Mercer, man, how bad must he feel seeing Jack Spectra be the one that gets benched? It's just like he's just sitting there, and then it's like, all right, bye, Jack, man. Sorry, bro. Like, I kind of inted you for 2 whole splits, but you know, like, better you than me. And then he just fucking pieces out to the Heretics Academy house. That is fucked up. But
no, I mean, he just goes up to Jack Spectra. It is that moment out of the Dark Knight Rises, like, they expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. It's like, he just fucking jettisons out with the fucking Heretics playing, like, what the fuck? What the hell? Yeah, sorry, Jack. See ya. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason for the roster change, I mean, obviously, Jack Spectra wasn't the biggest issue on the team, and I'm pretty sure they're not delusional. Like, he was probably the second best player on the team. It's probably Yankos and then him, and then everyone else under that, right? The fact of the matter is that he's the only one that had a suitable replacement. When you look at every other player within the Heretics organization, their academy team, I don't think Icebeasto can play in LEC. I've watched a decent amount of his games. I don't think he's LEC level. And then they're like, I don't think that Heretics as a whole, like they didn't want to go with the Zywoo move because they could get Vetio, which is an upgrade. So the Flacket is just the guy who they're going to end up putting in because he's the one that was in LEC, and then also he has like previous experience with Yankos. They know how they play together. It's good team environment, all that type of stuff. So I don't think Jack necessarily got benched because Jack was bad. It's more that Flacket was the best out of all the options by far.
Exactly. Mercer should just rename himself to I am Jack's complete lack of a functional support. Shout out Fight Club, if people know the reference there. Right, pretty old movie for you guys, but for me, it was actually like a cool movie in my youth.
Yeah, it was like in your 30s when it came out.
There you go. Right, here's the other reason, though, why I also do believe in Heretics. One, I do sort of like secretly believe Vethio's going to come back, and I think Yankos is going to help it. But another reason why is now the actual Peter Dunn factor. I mean, I already think he was working miracles, getting some of the fucking wins out of this team, but the old lineup. But I think it applies in this one, mate. Peter Dunn, here's all you need to know. Yeah, you're all thinking Flackhead. You know, he's like an all right ADC, but he's not some star player. Here's how I know that fucking Peter Dunn can make it so that in an ADC meta, that Flackhead gets fed. Because Peter Dunn was even able to get Danny fed, and the Evil Geniuses organization couldn't do that.
Okay, come on, man. Was the setup there? Holy shit, it was a Nicola Point reference the whole time. I thought it was a point about like why 80 carries could thrive within the Heretic system.
No, it wasn't. I did the old, you know, you didn't know what I was like drifting something behind it, NASCAR style. The last second it took over and won the race.
You're thinking that like going on year number 4 of us doing talk shows, I'd be able to, you know, kind of figure out where you're going with things. No, okay, that caught me off guard. Jeez.
What do you think though? Because like, let's be real. Like, if you just like with Mac, if you actually give them some good pieces, I do think Peter Dunn, I mean, Mac's one of his proteges. He can make miracles work compared to some of the other coaches in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's just still weird to me. The whole thing doesn't even feel like a Peter Dunn operation. If you think about how Peter Dunn has like cultivated talent and what his philosophy has been in every other organization that he's been in, it's all been about like getting young players and giving them time and building them up and then having a good team like when it matters, you know, in a year's time, half a year's time, whatever. Jack Spectra is like the new AD carry, right? The team was not set up for him to succeed. He gets benched after what? He played 9 games in spring, and then he played a total of like 15. So he got like 24 games, and he's just benched after that. In the whole half year, the 2 players that they got were like Evie and Ruby, right? And Evie and Ruby were both players that are older and players that have been playing for a long time, which is normally not what he likes. And yeah, like even the replacements don't even make much sense compared to like what he has done previously. So it's just really weird for me to see because I just don't know how Peter Dunn, like, I don't know if he changed his philosophy, if there's pressure from other places to like get these players in. I know that like Flacket is really popular and Heretics is an organization that really, really likes him. I'm just not sure how everything's working there because it doesn't seem like every other people. We've seen a lot of Peter Dunn teams, like every Splice and Mad Lions team. Like we saw him for years work his magic. He did the same thing in EG. And then this is the exact opposite to everything he's done previously.
Yeah, also, as you mentioned there, another reason why you want Flackhead, which is the downside if you Jack Spectre, is Heretics is a Spanish org, guys. So, like, they want Spanish players if they can. Mm-hmm. Here's one thing I will say, though. Get ready, Dom. Because if Heretics does struggle, that's right, we're going to be in Mad Lions territory. So you're telling me we've got a French player at mid lane and we've got a fucking Spanish player at ADC, the 2 traditional carry roles in the LEC.
Oh,
and
no.
if we lose, it's just going to be that fucking war on Twitter, isn't it? It's going to be like, I piss in your mother's open gaping face. Like, and then people are just like, Riot's just like, sorry, no, I'm Espanol, just letting it pass. Like, that's okay, just keep going on the broadcast.
Yeah,
like,
no,
that war is wild between those 2 countries on Twitter. They're fucking savage.
No, it's crazy because you'll get that like, yeah, we're gonna piss in your mother's gaping face, and then you'll have like a Spanish guy come in. It's like actually the connotation in Spanish is just like saying like shut up or something. It's like okay, I mean I guess like
you're
I ran the translate.
Literally, I know exactly.
Yeah, like I mean I'm not from Spain, so I can't really argue with you. But
it is. That's all. If you don't know, they always try to imply there's some fucked up cultural context that makes it okay. That's a bit like there's another one, right, that Richard once told me that he used to have a mate who's from Greece. And as people will know from people like Forgiven, people from Greece can be mad spicy, right? And he told me they used to have a saying that they would say, and it was just supposed to mean sort of like, I'll fuck you up or something. But when he would say it was like, it actually translated to, I will fuck and rip your asshole. But why the rip part? Like that part, like again, I'm not buying that totally, Dom. I don't know if that ever could just be like, that's like saying, fuck you, man. I'm gonna win this game. Like, why the ripping of the arsehole? Why that? Why are you doing damage to it? Like, what the fuck, dude? Why? Everyone likes to make out like British people are all toxic, Americans are talking shit. Like, bro, we're fucking like schoolgirls compared to these people. We're just like, hey, you stink, you boo, and then everyone's telling us you're the most toxic piece of shit on the internet. Then they're just like, fuck and rip your arsehole. Like, fuck. Why is it ban him? That's TOS. Ban this motherfucker. Ban him. It's just unacceptable, isn't it?
Yeah,
anyway,
Jesus, man.
Bringing it back, I do low key believe in Heretics, but like I said, to make groups, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going further than that. We'll see. We'll see if Ebby can somehow fucking walk the Armut tightrope once again. Except to be fair, Armut at least had champions. He just has K'Sante being. I've said this before.
He's not even good at K'Sante. That's the worst part of it. He's not actually even good at K'Sante. When you look at top tier K'Santes, you're like just look at Eastern K'Santes in general. When you see like Faker K'Sante, like his K'Sante is top tier, you're like, damn, like that champion is fucking broken. When you see Shanji K'Sante, you're like, yeah, no wonder it's fucking banned against him every single game. This champion is like you cannot play against this champion. Then we see Evie K'Sante, it's like, and he got a solo kill. He's not really that useful in teamfight. Oh, like the ult is kind of weird. Shouldn't he have kept his resistances here? I mean, I guess it's better than his normal champions. He kind of won his lane. That's how you feel about Evie K'Sante. And also, he was playing the K'Sante when he was getting all those K'Sante games and he was making his name as a K'Sante player. It was like release most broken fucking K'Sante in the game, and it's been nerfed since then. So
yes.
I'm not a huge believer. I don't think that there's many redeemable qualities from Evie's game. I mean, he seems like a nice guy. He's doing the thumbs up. That's kind of cool. Got some personality going. Seems like he tweets some funny things. Just the gameplay part, that's the issue that I have.
Because the problem I have with that Echo, the fucking K'Sante is, it reminds me of when people used to play those tank Echo Dom, where they could actually do fucking damage, but they were just building tank items. And obviously it's got all those ridiculous, like, get in and out and dash. Like, that champion was just busted. But the problem is, it wasn't busted. Like, it's not like the best players all played it and carried in the LEC. It was more like it was busted to bring, like, shitter players up to, like, a level that they could... Essentially, it was like a fucking life preserver. It just kept them alive in a way they shouldn't have been in the game to me. So that's why I sort of agree, especially once the split went on. He is a mad liability, that Ebby guy. It's just that people like him, so they just don't want to flame him. That's it, as far as I can tell. It's the only thing that's keeping him going. It's the only thing.
I mean, he just seems like he's hard to flame, you know? He's like he's not like somebody like upset where he says something that's like controversial and you're like, oh, he talks some shit? Like, I'm gonna get him back for that. That's what fans love to do. You know, Evie's different. Like, it hurts to flame him, but at some point when you play bad enough, you just like... You have to be honest about what's going on in the games, and he's just a massive liability. It is what it is. He was a massive liability for pretty much the entirety of the year to this point. So
well, people have to realize, though, Dom is like one of those creatures in black in Magic the Gathering. He's willing to do damage to himself in order to do damage to the opponent. Like, he'll take 2 damage to like remove 1 creature to the enemy's graveyard, basically.
100%.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
100%. That's what I do at T1 all day. Like, I get so much like hate for it, but it's just, I don't know. Like, it's worth it in the long run. I feel like I'm doing like a good deed. You know, it makes me have that warm, fuzzy feeling inside when I, tweet about how Yagao is Faker's father. It's just
the most egregious takes of all time. Okay. Dude, the only thing on that is I just hope one day you get to experience what I did, which is this is where I know I am a little bit toxic. I'm not fully toxic and people make out. Some of it is just entertainment. But when I knew I am a little bit fucked up and toxic, because I do enjoy Schadenfreude way too much. Like, spoiler, you guys think I'm not loving the fact that TSM signed Ruby. It's like, oh, I can't wait. Already. Sure. You know what I mean? I'm already loving that. But even better, right? When you talk about all those players, right? Normally, especially if it's an Asian player, you know that, like, it doesn't matter. He's never going to hear what I said. I've told this story before. When I did that video where Koma kept, like, subbing Faker out, and in, like, the MSI final in 2015, he was only bringing him in when they were down, like, 2 games or whatever. I did a video, and the title of the video was Koma is ruining esports history. Because my analogy was, it's like if you, like, didn't play Michael Jordan because you didn't have to in the finals, so we didn't get to see Michael Jordan play. And because of how, because this was the era when I was hitting my peak, and I was even in Korea at the time. Apparently, because once he told me this, word did get back to Koma that, like, I made this video, and he was like, what? Like, he just heard the title was like, remember, he's like winning everything, won worlds, everything. It was like, you're ruining, this guy says you're ruining esports. So I sort of low-key do hope that, like, somehow Faker just hears one day, like, oh, you know the really famous, like, streamer, Dom in the West? Yeah, he says that Yagao was your father. Like,
Like,
I want to see Faker just doing the question mark, like that fucking Nick Young, like, someone make that Photoshop right now, Faker.
Well, I've got some info for you, Thorin. So this is where I'm different than you. Like you put that stuff out and you're like, oh, he'll probably never hear what I say. For me, it's like, how can I get them to hear what I say? So right now, I am in talks with Monty. I've already hired people to put a truck outside of LoL Park for the LCK. I am currently in the process of buying a truck.
Baller.
To truck the LCK, to try to just put try to put some slander up there. So like I'm actually like I'm even more fucked up than you, Thor, and I'm actively trying to get people to see the flame.
You should just get a truck that just says BLG would win LCK. I bet they'll just cut to like a news shot and there's all people just like pushing the truck. I'm like, it's rocking it over completely.
Yeah, there's a couple things I've done. Like I've looked at different options. What I'm trying to see is if I can get animations on the truck. Is it only words, or could I get like one of my run emotes? I have an IWD run emote that's just my face like completely distorted, just running, and it just looks like an absolute creature. And I just want LPL greater than LCK, and then my run emote. People are gonna fucking be spamming it in the chat. That's what I'm looking for right now. That's what I'm looking to put right now in front of LoL Park. So we'll see if it happens. You know, I'm willing to pay. Monty's like, it's going to be expensive. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes. Yes.
Like, some things are worth it just as a gift to yourself, Dom.
Yeah, 100%. No, I mean, it's the same thing we just talked about. I'm literally a black player in Magic the Gathering where I am taking damage to inflict it on the opponent.
Yes.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.